In this video, I'm going to try to settle a debate that I've been having with myself, which is, what is the Gibson GA-15RVT? Is it Gibson's take on the famous Vox AC15, or is it more along the lines of a Fender Princeton? If you read online, people will tell you that it's either of those things. Some people say that it's neither of these things. When they look under the hood, apparently it's a bloody mess. It's not a very well thought out and laid out design. And if you try to find schematics for this things, it's kind of all over the place. So in today's video, I'm going to ignore all that stuff. We're just going to be comparing both amplifiers. I've been thinking about how to do this, and I've got something laid out. Let's go check it out. Now, if we just look at the specs of the GA-15RVT, it is really different compared to a Princeton in the sense that it doesn't have the same tube complement. The cabinet is shaped differently, and the speaker is a CTS from, I think, back in the 60s. I don't think they even make speakers anymore. They just make volume pots and all that. It is different from the Princeton, but it kind of has the same layout on the front. It is a non-master volume amp. It has bass and treble. It also has controls for the reverb and the speed and depth for the tremolo. Comparing the Vox AC15 and the Gibson GA-15RVT stock is kind of pointless because the cabinet size is not the same, the speaker is not the same. That will impact the tone greatly. So what I decided to do is use technology from the digital realm. So I'm using a Two Notes Captor with the Two Notes wall of sound, and I'm going to be using a Celestion. I bought official Celestion AlNiCo Blue speakers, which would be the kind of speaker you would have found in older Vox amps. So we're going to be comparing them with the exact same speaker, exact same mic placement, and this way we can hear how the amps sound. And I'm going to be putting both of them through a rather rigorous series of tests with different pedals and clean tones, cranking them up and all that. Seeing how I minimize some of the different variables from both amplifiers, we're going to start with the clean tones. Now in this next example, we're going to be comparing the reverb from both the GA-15 and the AC-15. The tremolos in both amps are quite different. One is more vintage style and the other one's a little bit smoother and more modern. So let's go have a listen. Now we're going to compare the distortion from both amps. Keep in mind that the Gibson has to be cranked all the way because it is non-master volume, so that might change how both amps sound when they're breaking up. Where you can start to tell the difference between two amplifiers is with different distortion types. So in this next series of tests, we're going to be using different pedals, and we're going to start with the Empress Effects Fuzz. next example, we're going to be using the Kaluna from Valbrook. It is a tube-driven pedal. Now let's compare both amplifiers with the Wampler bell. We're going to go with the transparent type pedal, which is the Royce Gold Sounds. It's their take on the whole King of Tone thing. So what do you think? Do you think that we just solved the mystery? Is the Gibson amplifier a take on the Vox AC15? Or do you think that it's a completely different circuit, doesn't sound anything like the Vox? Let me know in the comment section below. I'm not done doing the whole research thing. I'm actually going to make a whole video on that amplifier. I'm going to be talking about some of the quirks, and I'm really going to go deep on this one. If you're interested in that video, click on one of the videos appearing on the screen right now, and I'm going to see you in the next one. Cheers.